All right, so today we're going to have a look at the chart of the 12th of September. At 3 in the morning, universal time of course, the moon is going to reach 18 degrees in Taurus, as you can see here. That is going to place it right across the black moon, or Lilith. And at 9 p.m., it will reach a position that will create an opposition with Vesta. And very soon after, the moon is going to reach Uranus here in Gemini. So the fact that it is going to be opposite the black moon is going to trigger the energy of the black moon, which represents the dark zone in our life. So what is that dark zone in your life? It seems that on that particular day, and perhaps time, although it's quite early, I think it's going to be active most of the day. And if you were born, or if you live rather, west of Greenwich, west of the universal timeline, it may be still the 11th of September during the evening or at night. But in any case, work it out for yourself according to your location, of course, as usual. The fact is that the black moon represents that dark zone. So it may be something not very important, but it could be also something much more important. And if you are able to shed some light on this dark zone, to understand it, to address it perhaps as well, it will help you for sure. It will help you restore or preserve harmony, because at 9 p.m. the moon will be opposite the position here, Vesta, which is about to leave actually the sign Scorpio, where it's been transiting for a little while, to transit in Sagittarius. So being on the verge of changing sign makes the energy of a planet or element quite fidgety, quite nervous. That's why most probably the need to preserve or restore harmony in your life and balance as well will depend on how, on that particular day and around the time, you address that dark zone. And once you recognize what it is, perhaps once you share this area of your life that is not quite 100% clear, then you will find most probably solutions. Because the dark moon, as you see here, the black moon is in harmony with the north lunar node, and it's also in harmony with the south one, of course, but also with this conjunction here between the Sun and Mercury. And that is going to help us communicate. Communicate about that dark zone? Why not? Communicate about what maybe you don't understand or cannot really deal with or control. Like, it could be a very intense sort of need or desire that you have for quite a while. While the black moon is in Scorpio, it does trigger our libido. So that may also have a meaning regarding that dark zone I'm talking about. But thanks to Mercury and the Sun, we will most probably, myself as well, or anybody else for that matter, will most probably be much more able to understand, to reflect on this, to analyze, and to discuss, perhaps to share in any case. Communicating about the dark zone helps us understand what we are, who we are, and what we can achieve from our life, from our intellect as well, represented by Mercury, and from that life force, the vital force represented by the Sun. And the sun is going to help the moon shed light on this dark zone. because you see it is in harmony with the moon. There is a trine here between the two, which is a very positive configuration that helps us deal with the north and south, with the black and white, with the light and night, with the yin and yang. And that is very important, of course, because that preserves and protects, even, I would say, this notion of harmony and balance that we need. And our body needs it as well. Now, the asteroid Vesta, which is here, is going to change sign, as I said earlier on, very, very soon after this September 12. And it's going to have a much different influence, because there is an opposition with Uranus. So when the moon reaches Uranus, it will become very strong, the opposition, and it will trigger the need to change something, which I will explain in another video. But let's talk very quickly about the north and south lunar nodes. As I repeat every time, the north lunar node represents that to which we should be tending to go, and the south one represents that from which we should be trying to detach ourselves. Do we have to detach ourselves from Mercury and the Sun because they're conjunct this south node? Probably not. In my opinion, it indicates that if we accept to detach ourselves from a certain manner of expressing ourselves, expressing our thoughts, and the manner in which we deal with life, intellectually, mentally, and physically as well, may need to be somehow questioned and changed. Maybe there are a type of thoughts that we tend to cultivate that is not necessarily useful, that may even slow us down. The North Lunar Node is calling. It's calling for us to come to that direction that is linked to the sign Pisces. The south one is in Virgo, which is an earth sign, rational and so on, whereas Pisces is a water sign, and it does represent this spiritual dimension of life. It represents our feelings rather than our thoughts, although our feelings may influence our thoughts naturally. But there is a need to sort of get them to collaborate with one another rather than be opposite. Some people think that thinking, being mental, is much more important than being spiritual. So there is a dilemma in those people, and if you belong to those people, then you may need to reflect very rationally, but at the same time let yourself go into that dimension, which is the spiritual dimension of life. We all have a soul, and it's been actually scientifically proven, but we don't know how to deal with it. And therefore, if we don't know, our soul will not know how to collaborate with us, how to guide us, and so on. So this is a very interesting configuration, and luckily the north and south lunar nodes are in harmony with the moon. They're in harmony with the black moon as well. So whatever is ambiguous in your life, that dark zone may help you actually find the right direction if you let go. Letting go in order to switch from being cerebral or intellectual to become much more spiritual. You will find that spirituality, whatever you choose to call spirituality, will be very helpful. So the next video will deal, of course, with the transit of the moon when it reaches Uranus. in Gemini. Note that Uranus is retrograde, so it's going to move in Taurus again for a while, and it will come back in Gemini in April, only in April next year, on the actually 25th, 26th of April. And that will be a very important transit, of which I will talk in length in the video that I'll make for 2026. So see you soon in the following video, which will deal with, once again, the transit of the moon on the position of Uranus in Gemini. Bye for now.